Ashley is just joining.
Ah, yes.
So,
good
can
morning.
you hear us? Good morning. It's always weird when I say good morning and it's good evening where I am. It's very strange.
Yeah.
Yes, time zone joy.
Can't see you, Ash.
He's hiding. It's because he's
Here
not.
we are.
It's not like
Oh, there
woken
you
up
are.
yet. He's still wearing his pajamas.
I'm literally still wearing my pajamas.
Let me turn you up a bit there. How's that?
There he is. Hello.
Look
Good
at you. You've got
good to
dressed.
see you both.
I did. I even had a shower. I thought I better
Oh my
better
God.
display
I literally
ourselves
just
in
screwed my hair back. I'm still in my caftan.
I miss
Put a bra
haircuts.
on for you all.
I miss haircuts. The last time I was able to get my haircut was last September when they opened the shops for about 2 months, and I got it cut, and I haven't. So I've had my haircut once in just over a year. It's not good. So before I did this call about stick my head under the sink, otherwise I look like sort of Tim Burton, but not the talented Tim Burton, just the the hairstyle Tim Burton.
The woolly Tim Burton.
Yes. So in an
Not a
hour,
bad look.
yeah, kind of works. In an hour, I start my night job, which is an 11-hour shift, customer service stuff. So it's this is a nice warm up for me, doing something fun before I do my actual job that pays the bills, which is not as much fun.
Yeah.
Never that's it. We all have one of those, Stuart.
We do. Do we call them survival jobs? I think some people call them those. I don't know if that's a good term or not, but
Yeah, mortgage jobs.
Mortgage jobs.
Paid jobs.
That
Real
works.
jobs.
Yeah.
So I have my Grimmfest mug here, which, because it's virtual Grimmfest, because I can't be at Grimmfest because everything's shut down in England, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But
Does that.
Grimmfest are a bit like you, Lisa. They don't like to follow the rules, so they're like, do you know what? We're going to keep doing festivals, but we're going to do them online so people can still watch lots of really cool films. And obviously, you guys don't have to get on a plane and fly somewhere to go meet people. So it's how are you finding?
I would love to have done that.
It's a lot better.
Yeah.
It is a lot better.
It's such a shame.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It's saving the airfare though. So I suppose you've got to find the positive out of the negative, saving the planet as well. Exactly. But,
saving the planet.
Yes, let's go for that one. That's probably the best one.
Yeah.
So what are you drinking there, Ashley? What's in your cup?
Just a large coffee. It's the wee hours. It's still dark outside, so a little bit of a charge up, Stuart.
Yeah. So I'll be having charge ups to keep me going through the night, and you're having a charge up because you've just got to the beginning of the day. So Sweet River. Firstly, amazing film. So my entire thanks to the whole cast and crew for putting a really cool film together. I just finished watching it this afternoon in a very, very dark room because I like looking to see what other people think of films.
Good.
I never let reviews or either way sway me whether I'm going to watch a film or not, but I always find it fascinating to see what people think. And one review I saw went, the film's a bit dark. So I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's make my room very, very dark. And I love the cinematography. I love the dark scenes. And there is a lot of scenes that are shot in the dark. It builds the atmosphere. It makes it far more realistic. So my one tip, well, two tips actually. One, people should watch Sweet River. It's kind of an easy tip. But two is do watch it in a dark room. Put all your lights off. Put your sound up because the sound design is amazing as well. And you will have a wonderful experience. So...
that's two very good points.
It is. Where was it shot? Where was I mean, obviously Australia, but which part of Australia was it filmed? Because the scenery is amazing in the film. I loved it.
It was shot pretty much halfway between where Lisa and I live, in a place called the Tweed Valley, around a town called Murwillumbah.
Okay.
It's nice. It's amazing because what I thought, because I'd never been there either, Stuart, and I think as Brits, when we think of Australia, we think of, Ayers Rock and the red earth and, kind of barrenness. You don't really think of that lush cane, and it's like a pocket because it's got a massive, it's got a mountain called Mount Warning, which used to be a volcano, didn't it? Is that right, Ash?
It was the center of the volcano.
So the land around there is really fertile. So you have this kind of pocket that you drive into, and it's like an oasis. It's so weird.
I was fascinated. I love Australian films. I love Australian films. I love Irish films. I love all films, but for some reason, with a film that's Australian with the subject matter that Sweet River has, I don't know why, but it just seems creepier and more atmospheric than, say, if the film was done in the US. I don't know why. I think it's because having been to Australia, one of the feelings I got, and so I've been to places like Sydney, which is very, very built up, but I also did the train from Sydney to Perth. So we stopped off at a lot of really, really remote places. And where Sweet River was also set, it kind of gives you the feeling that somebody could literally do anything they wanted to you. Unless somebody saw you do it, nobody would ever get caught. It has this wonderful, creepy, isolated, middle of nowhere. Nobody, you know, there's no CCTV cameras kicking around or anything. And that always adds to the atmosphere, and it certainly did in Sweet River.
Yeah, and I think because Australia has so much land and so few population, you do have that feeling, don't you, that you could get away with anything and no one would know.
I mean, looking at your filmography, Lisa, you did a lot of work in the UK when you used to live here. And so obviously it must have been, or was it a big culture shock when you then moved to Australia? What is the biggest differences between working here in the UK and working on Australian film sets, if there is one, other than the warm weather, I'm guessing?
Yeah, the warm weather. There's not much difference on the different way of everyone works in the film industry, pretty much the same. I would say I find Australian crews particularly amazing. They are a real, they'll just do anything to get the best results. They are really kind of, they'll give 110% to make the whole product the best it can possibly be, rather than, well, you know, coming up to overtime. So we have to really build that tower just so director can see if that shot works or not. Or, you know, they'll just like, yeah, sure, we can do that. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. You know, and I love that about the Australian crew. I think everyone just really mucks in. And
how big how big was the crew on Sweet River? Was it? I'm guessing it wasn't a huge crew, but what sort of numbers are we talking?
It was a minimal crew, probably around the 38 to 42 mark on average most days.
And everybody just doing what they do and go, right, yep. You weren't barking orders at them, were you, Lisa? You weren't going, let's see if they'll do this.
Oh God. Oh no. I was baking for everyone.
Lisa was bringing fresh baked cookies and cakes every day.
Oh, that's how you get them to do all these tasks and give 110% cookies. If it works.
I used to wait until it was that witching hour where everyone had just about had enough and wanted to stab themselves in their eye. And then I would go, I brought cookies.
Yeah.
Kind of, that sugar rush was just to get them through the last couple of hours, you know. So,
well, that would work, wouldn't it? Because Ash has got his coffee as a pick-me-up, and you come in with the cookies and rejuvenate the crew to carry on and get that extra 10%.
Yeah. It's a totally selfish tactic behind it all, but yeah.
You know, I've watched the film on screen. It worked. Whatever you guys were doing, it worked. Cookies and and everything else. So
it was a real family, wasn't it, Lisa? You know, it was.
That's what I loved about it. It was a real, because it was a hard shoot because we only shot it in 17 days. So that's, you know, we were up against the time every single day, and you know, just trying to get the biggest production value out of a low budget film as best we could. So everyone was incredibly creative on the spot and thinking on their feet. And so I think that made everybody kind of really mesh very quickly. It was a bit like the Blitz mentality. I always kind of say that because it really was muck in and just get the job done and as best and make the best product that we can for the time and the money that we had. So it was a very family feel to it.
I would sort of say it's like the first month of the pandemic in England when everybody went, yes, we're all on the same page. We're all going to do this. We're all going to do that. And then about 6 weeks into it, half of them went, I'm kind of bored of this now. I'm just going to go do whatever I want and go to a rave and, you know, madness.
To a rave.
So Ash, you're one of the producers.
You need a shorter pandemic. That's what you need.
We do. We need like I think a 5-week pandemic probably would have worked. So I think for the next one, probably about 5 weeks. I think maybe 12 months is a little bit too much. It's gone way over budget. It's gone over schedule. It needs to go more indie rather than Hollywood blockbuster pandemic. So
yes.
But you're one of the producers of the film. Did you come on board? Were you on board at the very beginning, or did you come on board partway through? What's your story about hooking up or being involved with Sweet River, Ash?
Yeah, so no, I came on board right at the beginning. Justin and I both live in Byron Bay, a small little coastal seaside village, about an hour south of the Gold Coast. And Justin's a TV commercials director, and I was a producer in the commercial game. And we were just catching up for a beer one afternoon, having a good session on the anxieties of being a freelancer in the film industry and making commercials that didn't really have our love and our passion in. And we decided, or I said then, let's make a feature film. We've always wanted to. Come up with an idea that I can shoot within 30, 40 minutes of Byron Bay with maximum of 3 leads or 3 prominent characters, 1 lead, 2 supports, a maximum of 2 or 3 locations, and something we can shoot in 3 weeks. And Justin went away for about a month or 2 months and came up with this idea. And then we went for a few long drives around the local cane fields, and the locations really informed the story and crafted the story about. We knew we'd have a limited budget. So we really made the environment work for the budget and the schedule, and Sweet River was born. So I then brought on a couple of executive producers to help me secure the finance, and Justin and Lisa had worked together previously, so that was an easy go-to, and the team expanded from there, really.
So what was a typical day like, if there is such a thing as a typical day for a producer on a film set? What would your average day be like? Long, I'm guessing. Long.
Yeah, they're long days. We were shooting generally from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. to utilise light and dark. My average day would generally start about 8 a.m. and normally actually we had a heat wave and there were some bad fires that time of year. So my day would normally start with checking the fire warnings to find out if we can actually proceed with the shoot and we can get to location. Then it's probably fielding a couple of calls from crew or cast accommodation, Airbnbs, sorting out problems. One of the crew had a dog, so it was a regular neighbour complaint about the dog accommodation. Then it would be, just dealing with the mechanics and logistics of a standard film crew. But as mentioned earlier, the team really bonded and really rolled their sleeves up and worked as a family. So there weren't a whole lot of issues for me to resolve. It was more sitting down with the heads of department and with Justin and working out how we can film 9 pages today.
How do you film 9 pages in a day? Were there some days when you maybe did 7 and then you did 11 the day after, or did you generally hit that mark?
Yeah, you get one take.
Yeah, it was very hard on the actors. It was takes were limited, coverage was limited, so it was creatively thinking your way out of a problem, really.
So going on to the minimal takes, Lisa, how are you somebody who generally likes several takes to warm up, or do you quickly adapt to okay, we've only got 1 or 2 here? How do you work? What's your methodology?
I do like to have the rehearsal taped, because generally the rehearsal is always better than the actual takes. So I like the director to kind of not tell me that they're taking, but tape the rehearsal. But in this case, yeah, I generally got 1 or 2 takes, and that was it because of time. I don't know. I think if you're doing an emotional scene, I don't like to over-egg it. And I think the more you do it, the more it kind of loses its spontaneity. I'm someone who will learn my lines in the makeup chair because I like to be, when in life you don't know what you're going to say, and so I like to almost be slightly searching for what I'm going to say next. I think it brings a more realistic performance. I hate that word as well. A realistic reaction to whatever's been said to you. Yeah.
What was the word that you hated? Performance.
Performance, yeah, because I don't think it should be a performance. I think it should be, you know, I always think that acting is the art of reacting.
Yeah.
You're just reacting to whatever. I mean, I'm not performing to you now. I'm just talking to you.
That's why it's like a lot of the time people will say, "Oh, we're doing an interview," and I don't like that word. There's two words I don't like. I don't like client. You know, when publicity companies have clients, it annoys me. It's like they're people I work with. That's one of my little quibbles.
Yeah.
And
we're just having a chat.
Yeah, that's what this is. This is a conversation. It's not an interview.
Exactly.
I'm going, look at my next question here and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's, you know, so it is a conversation.
Exactly. It's like I hate the word, we're going about words now. We're totally going off track, aren't we?
No.
I hate, you know, like your craft.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't kind of think of it like that. Or your process. I don't know what my process is. I don't really have a process. I read the script. I read it over and over and over again until I can't be bothered to read it anymore. I take note. I don't make notes. I take note of what my character says. I take note of what other characters say about my character, and that dictates where her place in the world and how other people see her in that world.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's apart from, in this instance, apart from talking to people with addiction and doing the research on that and getting in shape, because I knew it was going to be a tough shoot. So getting physically fit for that. Apart from that, that is my research, as it were, because I don't want to make decisions about how I'm going to say a line or how I'm going to play a scene, because I have no idea what the other actor's going to give to me or how they're going to deliver a line, and that dictates so much. It can change the meaning of a scene even, you know. So I think
Oh, she's frozen. She's in the moment.
She has. It was mid-flight there.
I'm sure she will return. She'll be like this for about 3 hours now and then come back eventually.
She gets a stiff hand when she does that.
Is that what it is?
She'll come back to us.
She will come back. So no, I loved the film. The one thing I love about there's many things I love about Grimmfest. The fact they let me do things like this is one of the things I love about Grimmfest. But I don't know how they pick the films they pick, but it's never all the same type of films for the festival. Everyone is very different, and I've seen some gems whilst attending Grimmfest, and I'm very, very happy that Sweet River is now amongst that list.
Thank you, Stuart. Brilliant.
It was very, very good. I think she's disappeared now. Hopefully she will come back.
She'll log back on.
I will just watch for her coming back on. But so what is the toughest thing for you to do in your role as producer? Or what is the most exciting? You could choose whichever. Toughest or most exciting?
You know, it's one of the most exciting things of producing that I absolutely love is solving problems. You know, whether that be where do I get the macadamia milk from this morning because the corner store's run out, or how do I afford that GF8 camera crane, or how do I appease that actor? How do I resolve this problem? And then, you know, that's the most rewarding part is solving those problems. And then the most challenging part is having those problems. So it's funny, they're the same issue, just two different sides of the coin. Yeah. She's just texted me, trying to get back on. Yep.
Yeah, I will watch her coming back on, and then I will bring her back into the conversation. But I got the email from, I think it was from yourself, probably about 3 o'clock this morning. I think I was very fortunate enough that my night job let me finish at midnight. So I'm like, brilliant, I'll finish at midnight because then I'll stay up until 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and watch some films that I'll catch up on. So then I got your email at 3 in the morning. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm watching Sweet River today. And so that's brilliant. So I watched that in the dark. So it was,
thank you, Stuart. And that's a big thing because it was intentionally shot dark. It's funny, there were a few discussions on set between myself, the DP, the director, and the executive producer. My executive producer that was on set that day has a lot of experience with American films, and he was worried it was going to be too dark. But I think because we shot it in native 4K 239 CinemaScope, and it was just crafted so carefully with beautiful lenses, G-series anamorphic lenses that we used. So it, yeah, I'm proud of how it's come together.
You should be. You definitely should be. Now, you'd mentioned that there were some fires, so you had to keep checking for the fires. And I'm not going spoilers or anything for the film. I hate spoilers, especially because a lot of people who are watching this conversation. Welcome back. We thought you'd had enough. We thought, wow, that's let me just put that on the most disappointing ever. Lisa just ran away because she was hating our conversation. But welcome back, Lisa. So you mentioned fires. There are some scenes in the film that involve fire. Was that footage that was captured, or was that set to be filmed? Was that part of the production?
That was So without spoilers, they as part of the harvesting process in that valley, they burn the cane fields.
Right.
So we had timed our shoot and our location around the availability to utilise one of those crop burns. The difficulty is that we shot in November 2019, which was the beginning of the terrible Australian bushfire season that I'm sure you would have seen around the world. Lisa might know the figures a little better, but I think we had an area the size of the entire United Kingdom burn in a period of 2 months over Australia. So those fires started in the Tweed Valley, and then they moved further down the coast. But each morning I'd have to check, because the valley was filled with smoke from those fires further west. So it was a little bit of a health issue for some days, a health concern, and then also being allowed to burn the field for the shot that needed fire permits, and that had been delayed 3 times. So we got to film that scene on the second last evening of the 17-day shoot schedule.
It looks glorious on screen anyway. It's
It lasted, that whole burn lasted, what was it, Lisa, about 15 minutes?
Wow.
Sorry, just coming back in there, darling. Say that again?
That fire, the burn lasted about 15 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so quick.
Oh, you're back on a different device. But did the battery go on the first one?
Sorry. No, it's the connection on my, I think I'm on my phone now, and I did it on the laptop, and the internet connection here isn't bad, but it wouldn't connect to my phone. I was trying to tether it to my phone and it wouldn't let me. So anyway, I'm on my phone.
You're
Hello.
back.
Is that good enough for you? Do you need me to be back on my laptop?
Nope, that is perfect.
Okay,
you're here. That's perfect. However you're here,
exactly.
that is the main thing. So
Australia's not known for its internet connection.
Oh no,
it's not. That's the thing I was really surprised about when I got here, how bad the internet connection is. Anyway, another thing.
Yeah.
So before you sort of ran away, Lisa, you were talking about emotional scenes, and that's one of the things that I'd written down. I tend to just write down random words while I'm watching a film. I don't even read what I'm writing down. I just write it down, and then it stays in my head for after. The film for you was exhausting, both physically and emotionally, because you've got a lot of physical scenes where you're running around constantly. You've got a lot of emotional scenes where things are happening. I'm avoiding any sort of spoilers whatsoever. How do you physically gear up for that? How far in advance do you think, right, I need to get not into shape? You are in shape, but
well, I had about 8 weeks I gave myself to get in shape for it, and I was pretty strict with myself. And then, as I said before, I don't like to over prepare emotionally for it, because I think I read the script and I read the script and I read the script and I read the script, so I know it inside out. And then yeah, I think everything has to come from
Reacting.
a place of truth in yourself. Yeah, reacting, exactly. And so it either when I read a character, I either immediately have a parallel that's maybe happened in my life, or that I can relate to. And if I struggle to do that, then then you have other things that you go to create that that world and that connection. And if it's not in the script, then I'll do work on background, so that you know her history, and she's multifaceted and multi-layered as a character.
And how easy is it to shake off a character after the rap party? Is it easy enough for yourself? Because I mean, your work CV is amazing, so you're very talented at what you do.
Thank you. It depends on the character. Some easy peasy, some stick with you for a bit longer. Yeah.
How was it with Hannah?
I think it depends. Yeah, I think she probably stayed with me a bit longer than most would. She was a toughie, I think. Yeah, to kind of shake off. Yeah.
Because Sweet River is certainly not a comedy by any means. It is it's a
No,
wonderful
comedy.
slow burning, which I love slow burning films. I think they're amazing.
Yeah.
You look at some reviews like, it's a bit of a slow burn. Yeah, I'm in. That would make me gravitate towards the film. I love them.
Yeah. Well, I think it's nice to give it space to breathe and to build, and to. I think we're kind of more and more. Everything has to be a quick fix, and life isn't like that. I don't think.
No. I think some people watch films and they go, "Oh, I gave up after 2 minutes. Nothing happened." It's like,
it's like
2 minutes. What the heck? What's the matter with you?
I know.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah,
Yes, it's a thorn in my side, that discussion.
Yeah, same. It's like, so you get people who go, "Oh, it's a bit slow," but they will watch a 4-season TV series that doesn't get good until the 3rd season. It's like, your argument's just falling on its knees there. Crazy.
Yeah.
I always like it to music albums. Do people listen to the first track and go, don't like that, I'm not going to listen to the rest of the album? No, you carry on, you listen to the whole album, and then you get the whole point of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Film reviewers drive me up the wall sometimes. They really do.
Yeah.
So
now, sorry.
What was the most fun scene to shoot? Or the most rewarding for you personally?
The most rewarding. I really loved my scenes with Marty Sachs. I loved working with him. He's such a beautiful human being, and such a giving, gentle actor. So my scenes with him, I really enjoyed doing.
And was the one that was the most difficult, without going into any spoilers?
The most difficult. Weirdly, I mean, probably not ones that you would consider to be difficult, but I found the one to be the most difficult. It's difficult to tell you without giving away a spoiler. There was one particular one in the actual cane where I get scared by someone, and I've been on my knees with Violet, and then she tells me to run at one point. That's that little scene there I found the hardest to do, weirdly. I don't know why.
That was going to be my next question. It's like, do you know, not necessarily tell me why it was most, but do you personally know why that wasn't? But sometimes we don't, do we? We go, I don't know, that was the hurdle.
I just didn't feel, I just wasn't happy with it in the moment, and I wanted to do another take, and it was one of those, it was at the end of the day and we didn't have time, and I literally put my foot down. It was the one time I threw a hissy and went, I'm doing another take.
They were probably just, I think if you'd have given them more cookies, maybe
Yes, exactly.
maybe
I
you
was
could have
out
got
of
an
cookies
extra
at that
take.
point.
That's I
Yeah.
think that's
No,
what it is.
I
Isn't
was
it?
out at that point.
That's
Yeah.
what it
I
is.
think we had
I think it was. I found it difficult. I think because I felt rushed, because we were rushed every day. You know, that was just the
Yeah.
nature of the beast. But I was just like, no, this is important. This seems important. I don't want to be rushed on this. And so I kind of went up to the first and went, I'm having another take.
Yes.
Yeah,
do it.
that's happening. Yeah, make it happen. Yeah.
Now here's one for you, Ash. What are the release plans for Sweet River? You know, so people who aren't attending Grimmfest from their houses, what are there any plans in place for the general public to be able to watch the movie?
Yes, there are. So the film has been purchased. The rights have been purchased for the UK and Ireland by a company called 101 Films.
Good company. Yep.
So they are in the process of devising their distribution plan and trying to navigate the pandemic. Depending on theatrical exhibition and with cinemas opening and closing, the intention is to have a theatrical run. And then they will look at SVODs, VODs, and also terrestrial.
Well, I will say that the film is in great hands with 101 because I see a lot of their stuff. They don't pay me. I'm not on the payroll of 101, but I have seen a lot of their stuff, and their support across social media and press releases and stuff of films is very, very good. So
that's good to hear.
know.
It's always good
really
when I've heard of a company that's handling a film, then that's okay. It's like when I've not heard of them, I'm like, don't know about that. But we 101 are very, very good.
And
now
they fought quite hard for the film through our sales agent Resonate. So we've now secured sales to France, Benelux, UK, Ireland, and a theatrical release in April in North America.
Nice. So see Sweet River everywhere. That is good. That is good. Now here's the final one, because obviously we've not gone spoilers. We've not really gone plot details, because this is
hard to do that.
It is. Sometimes it is. I tend to write reviews the same way. So I'll be like, I like this, I like that. And nobody can read it and go, I know exactly what that film's about, and I don't have to watch it anymore. It's like, watch Sweet River. It's really, really good. It does premiere on Grimmfest on the 2nd of April. So this video will be up in the next 24 hours, because I'm going to be finishing my 11-hour shift tomorrow morning, having a little bit of a sleep, getting up, rendering the video, putting it out there. So people will be watching this video very, very soon. So it's a question for each of you. Now you can decide whether you both answer the same question or whether you take one each. But what would your pitch be for Sweet River, and why should people watch it? So you can decide who takes which.
I think Ash should do the pitch.
Yeah, I'll do the pitch. Good. Well, Sweet River is a Aussie noir atmospheric film about two mothers seeking closure from opposite sides of the fence. It's on the edge of your seat thriller, a little bit dramatic, no blood, I promise. Come watch it.
Good pitch.
Let me do that again.
Yep. Oh, yeah, okay. I think that was good. I would, if I hadn't already seen the film, I would go, do you know what? I'm in. I'll watch the film. That works.
Yeah.
So that was
Fair
really
enough.
good.
All right.
So Lisa, why should they watch? Why should people
they watch it? That's simple, because it's bloody good.
That is good as well.
Why would you not?
See, you are a one-take wonder. That is.
I am a one-take wonder.
Nail it. Now, I would like to let people know that when they're watching it, they won't get the free cookies. People will have to bring their own cookies.
Sorry about that.
To watch the film, but that's kind of a good idea. I wish I'd have done that earlier on. Is had a plate of cookies. So when I watch it again on the 101 Blu-ray or DVD or whatever, I'm going to make sure that I have cookies, just as a tribute to you, because I think both of you and the rest of the cast and crew, everybody have done an amazing job. And I'm very, very happy this is my first of the Grimmfest conversations, and that the film was really, really good as well. So it's always a bonus when I really like the film. I've not yet seen a film at Grimmfest that I haven't enjoyed, because then that would be a very awkward conversation to have with filmmakers.
Yes, wouldn't that be an awkward
What happened to your film? Why wasn't it good?
Yeah.
So
why did you bother?
Yeah, it's like, why? How much money did that? Ooh, maybe next time. Don't worry. But no, I loved it. I think you've all done a fantastic job. The film is beautiful to look at. The sound design's
Yeah.
amazing. The cast and crew have done a fantastic job. I love the locations. My final question
Yeah.
for you, Ash, is there is a scene where a character walks into the field, and there's like a clearing, and there's loads of rocks around. Was that made for the film, or is that already there?
So that clearing was there, but it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, predominantly by the director, who placed
Well done, Justin.
placed those rocks in that certain shape.
Specifically.
and then it was myself and the farmer removing them. So it was very much an indie film, hands on.
Yeah, but it works. It looked great. It's one of those things that struck out. I'm like, I need to make sure I ask that, because it's unique. And there's a lot. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for moving all the rocks and putting them there in the first place. It is much appreciated. But I am gonna let you guys go now, because our time's near enough ending. Zoom has these weird limitations on stuff. So it's. But
Yeah.
what have you got planned for the rest of your day? Anything exciting? It's got to be more exciting than the remainder of my day, talking to grumpy customers.
Well, it's absolutely chucking it down here at the moment.
Oh.
So I'm going to be staying indoors with the whippet.
Yeah, it's very, very rainy day, but I'm actually driving up to Brisbane today to pick up the hard drives for the final archive of Sweet River.
Nice.
Oh,
Little end of a journey.
Drive very safe.
Journey. Yeah.
Drive very safe. I look forward to seeing the film on shelves and people sharing screen grabs and all that sort of stuff. I will be writing I'll be writing a review probably in the next week or so, but I will email it through to you guys just so you can have a read.
Thank you.
And
thank you so much, Stuart.
You're welcome. Thanks for taking the time out,
Stuart.
Thank you for getting up at silly o'clock and starting your day with me. It is much appreciated.
Pleasure.
Okay. Made the day.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.